Hi there, and welcome to this month's Dori Talk. Today, we're going to be discussing 6 treatment menu principles to help consumers make sure they choose you and that you are the only choice. Talking about choices, you are where you are in your business today because of all the choices that you've made in the past. And that's exactly what I want to talk to you about today. Today, we're going to discuss how important it is for you to have a great menu that will present you in a way that you are the only choice for consumers. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is that the first decisions you made are what treatments you're going to offer in your place. You probably made a decision whether to offer weight loss, you want to offer maybe hormone replacement therapy, maybe medical aesthetics, of course, maybe sexual health, you name it, IV therapy. So you had a series of decisions to make as to what to actually offer on your menu, right? So now you probably have a menu. But what I want to talk to you about today is how is that menu actually positioning you and your business? Now that you've made the decisions on what you want to offer on your menu, then the second decision is the consumers deciding on whether you are the choice for them or not. So there's, as you see, a series of decisions that are being made here all the time. And what we want to make sure is that when consumers find you, we want to make sure that you are positioning yourself in the best way possible. We want to make sure that you have the right style, the right image, the right message. We want to make sure that they are definitely choosing you. So your medical aesthetic menu is a key marketing and sales tool. Yet so many people don't really pay attention to the time and the effort that it will take to actually create a menu that's going to help consumers make the right decision. The other thing you want to make sure you do when you're talking about your menu is what differentiation points do you have in there to help you and your team and your business be totally different than the competition. So the menu really, not only is it supposed to help you look good, but also you want to make sure that you are describing the treatments that you offer in a way that is so enticing for people to want to actually come and have those treatments with you. So when they're making that decision, they want to be assured that you are the company that can be trusted, you are the company that can produce results, and that you have a team of experts who are actually going to be able to deliver the great treatments for them, right? So obviously there's a lot that goes into it. So in working with many medical spas over the past really 2 decades. Yes, I know this is my second professional career. It's not my first, but I've been around the block a couple of times. I've had the pleasure to travel the world. I have collected menus from every single place you can actually imagine. As a matter of fact, on the desk here next to me, I literally have hundreds of menus. They come in all different shapes and forms. They come from whether it's the Canyon Ranch, whether it's a dermatology office, whether it's a regular spa, whether it's the Ritz-Carlton, you name it. We have tons of menu that we actually collect. But the thing is, even though we've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly, there are so many things that go into creating that menu. So before I get into all the principles that we're going to talk about, first, let's share with you why people actually purchase. What is the buying process? How do consumers make a decision to actually purchase treatments or products from you? So the first thing is they purchase because that treatment or that product is going to solve a problem or a concern for me. So that's number one. The second reason they purchase from you is because they are going to be achieving results from that particular treatment or product. The third reason they buy from you is they have to like and trust you for someone to actually give you their money. So that's number 3. Number 4 is they have to see that they're getting a great value. Notice I didn't say great discounts, I said great value. There's a big difference between the two. And then 5th, they buy because you actually deliver on the promises that you make. So your word, your message is very, very important. So that's what drives the consumer's decision-making process. So when you're writing your menu, you want to make sure to include these 5 decision-making processes within your menu in the way you present yourself and the way you describe your treatment. So what we want to do is make sure that we write content that's going to entice that decision-making process and get people to actually want to say yes to what you do and feature you and your team as the experts that you are. And that's really what we want, because here are the facts. There is no shortage of anything. Let's face it. There's a medical spa or a spa or a wellness center on almost every corner. So consumers have a choice. So what choices we help them make can make a big difference between them saying yes to you and them saying no to you or just keep going. So once they find you, that menu, whether it's on your website or whether it's a menu that's a printed document, either way, they want to know what you offer, and then they actually make the decision. So let's talk about the 6 principles that I want to share with you, that they could be mistakes that people make and how to actually avoid them and how to make them better. So let's start with principle number 1. Principle number 1 is all about the copywriting. It's all about the content that you actually write in your menu. That makes such a big difference. And when I said I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly, what I mean by ugly is how some people write. So you want to make sure that the copy that you use, and I always say copywriting is an art actually, but the copy that you use has to be so well written that when people digest that information, it's going to entice them to actually say yes to whatever it is that you are describing. So I don't care which menu you actually pick up or you pull up a website and you start reading. One of the things I find often in every menu I grab is the word hour. Everybody's so busy talking about me, our this, our that, our treatments, our equipment, our spa. Well, that's just so dumb, because it's not about our anything. It's all about them. It's all about you talking to one person. It's about your treatments, your facility, your medical spa. So we're directing that conversation to them instead of talking about us. When we're talking about us, it shows that you have an ego and that it's all about you. This is not about you. This is about them. It's about how you're going to solve their problems and concerns and how they can benefit from the actual treatment itself. So what I'd like you to do is go through your menu or your website, any of your marketing material, and see how many of the word hour you will find in your place. And I want you to change it to being you or your, so you're talking to them. So as they're reading, they're actually able to see that, oh, you're talking to me instead. So there are some other words that are actually pet peeves of mine. My team here knows it. It's like, oh no, here she comes with the red pen. And it's some of them are like, book your service. Ugh, What is that? What is book your service? First of all, it's a treatment, it's not a service. It should be reserve your experience or reserve your treatment. Or I open up a menu sometime and the first thing I see on the first page is their cancellation policy. It's like, are you kidding me? I haven't even reserved my treatment yet. You're already telling me how to cancel? You got to be kidding. That doesn't work that way. Sure, it should be rescheduling guidelines. So there are so many things, so many different words, the way you describe treatments. You need to focus on the benefit of the treatment and not just the feature of the treatment. I read some menus and they're talking about, this laser is this and this and it has these benefits and this technology. It's like, I don't care. What I care about is you telling me the results I would gain from that treatment. So instead of talking about the features of your lasers, you should really be talking about the benefits of that particular treatment and how I'm going to gain my results through that. So it makes a big, big difference. So difference between features and benefits. You need to make sure when you're writing your content, you're focusing on, I always call it a problem and a solution, right? So you always highlight what concern or problem somebody has, whether it's wrinkles, fine lines, hyperpigmentation, and then you offer me the solution via that treatment and you focus on the benefit. So you can't just sit in 2 minutes and write your menu and call it a day. It takes really a lot of efforts to write good content. So copywriting is definitely an art, my friends, and I would highly recommend you sit down and revamp the way you have your content in your menu now and assess it and see how you can improve it. All right, so that was principle number 1. Principle number 2 is the structure of your menu. And I'm going to go over a couple of different things. Now, the structure can include the design size, right? So you can have a shorter menu, you can have a longer menu, you can have a rectangle one, you can have one that opens up sideways, you can have a booklet with multiple pages, you can have just simply a pamphlet that's a trifold. I mean, there are so many different styles of menus. And what determines the style is how much money you want to invest in printing. So we always tell people when someone comes to us and says, oh, please help me with my menu, before we even start talking or discussing what exactly we want to do with the menu, the first thing we like to discuss is how much money do you want to invest in printing a menu. There are some people that love the booklets, but the booklets are much more expensive. So before you start writing and designing, you need to really go check with your printer, see how much quantity you can order, what is the ideal size for a menu that's going to be most economical, because the last thing you want, and I have some expensive menus here. I mean, look at this. This is an entire booklet, right? So this is not cheap. You don't want to be in a situation where it's going to cost you $5-10 to print one, and then you're like, oh, should I give her a menu? No, she's going to throw it away. It's like it stops you from giving away the menu. You don't want that. So determine your budget first, and that will really determine whether you should have a pamphlet, a trifold, a quadruple fold, or a booklet, depending on really how much of an investment you want to make. So once you've decided on that, then the other thing you want to do, once you've decided on that, the other thing you want to do is the way you structure your menu. So the first page, when you open up the menu, on your first page, you should always have the welcome. But instead, what I see often is right away they either go into the menu with facials and injectables and this and that without even telling me a welcome or who you are or what your place is all about and invite me to come and have a consultation. Do you know, I rarely see a welcome and an overview on the first page. So that should definitely be your number one. Then the other thing I find as mistakes sometimes is the font size. Sometimes it's so small that people can't read it easily, so be careful. Don't try to jam so much information that you have to make the font really small to fit the real estate that you have. Okay, that brings me to one other thing regarding structure, and that's your images. You open up one menu after another after another. You go to website after another, and you will see almost the same images from every single place because they all use stock images. That's another one of my big pet peeves. I'm always encouraging our members and members of our community to do their own photo shoot. Go hire a couple of models, show the whole experience. Nothing drives me more crazy than to open up a menu and what do you see inside? You see stupid images like this one. This is a property actually in California. You open up the menu and what do you see? I don't know if you guys can see this, but it's a pool with a bunch of chairs lined up one after another and empty. So are we selling pool furniture? Like, hello? Or they have pictures of the girls that are being used over and over in every place with the needle stuck in their face. It's like, yeah, I want to go get that treatment because I want you to poke me in the face too. I don't know why you do these things. You should focus again on creating your own images with your team or with models and tell the whole story of what your place is all about. Then the other thing we find often is that there is no offer or call to action on the menu. Like the back cover is usually empty. Hardly anybody puts anything on their back cover. And the back cover is very important real estate that you can actually utilize. And what we do and what we teach with the back cover is to make an offer. You want to give your audience that don't know who you are some kind of a gift, again, to entice them to come to see you. And we do that by offering a first visit gift card with a QR code that they can scan, take them to a landing page so they can actually go ahead and opt in and be on your list so you can develop a relationship with. So that's very important point. Then the other one I want to mention to you real quick is pricing. It never fails. You open up any menu and you always see the price first, then the treatment description. It's like, hello, why? Why are we focusing on price first? First, you need to tell me what the treatment is all about. The price is irrelevant. It really depends on whether I want that treatment or not. So why are we focusing on price first? As a matter of fact, if you have a booklet like this, for example, if you're gonna spend the money into a booklet, the last thing you want to do is put prices inside your menu because this is more expensive to print. So what you want to do is have a price list as an insert. So if you want to change the prices, you're not going to throw away all the menu. Now, of course, if it's just a trifold or a quadruple fold, then it's okay to put the prices in there. But frankly, I want to give them a reason to actually call and find out about pricing. So I'm not a big fan of putting pricing in, especially when we have some people offering, like, let's say, laser hair removal. And you see a whole list of every part of the body. Laser hair removal for the face, underarms, forearms, every part of the body is listed with a price on it. Like, why? You should have one little paragraph of what that treatment is, and then you can say from and call it a day. There's no reason to list every single body part and how much it costs to actually remove that part, that hair. So anyway, you gotta use your heads and make sure that you're doing things the right way. The other thing is definitely a professional image. I'm actually shocked how many times I go into places and ask for a menu, and sometimes they give me like a copy of a copy of a copy because they're out of them. Like, you should never be out of a menu. Could you imagine going into a restaurant? Here I am, ready to eat, and I ask for a menu, and they say, "Oh, we're out of a menu, but we have chicken and filet today. Which one would you prefer?" You can't do that, you guys. You cannot run out of menus, and you cannot make copies of copies of copies of menu. The menu should represent your brand. It's part of your marketing and your positioning. And if your menu is not presenting you in a professional manner, in an expertise manner that you deserve, then you're not helping yourself. You definitely need to improve it. So my suggestion to you is to definitely schedule a photo shoot, create a great image that's unique to yourself. So I'm not going to go to somebody else's website and see the same images that you're using on your website and in your menu. And that way people can definitely tell that you are different. So your branding needs to show across all marketing pieces. Your color, your image, your style, your fonts, everything should be unified to present you in the best way possible. Does that make sense? Yes. All right, let's move on to the next part here. What we want to do is make sure that you have differentiation. So you want to look your best, right? So, sounds good? Yeah. All right, number 4 is menu distribution. So now that you have this great menu, a lot of times is you're not getting the most benefit out of your menu. So what we want to do is make sure that people get their hands on your menu, so again they can come and have treatments by you. So one of the tips I want to give you is to establish some business to business relations to where they can actually have your menu and pass it out to their clients. You pick businesses that have the same target market as you have, and it gives you a great opportunity to actually build those relationships and be able to tap into their clients and let them know about what you offer. So I love business to business relations, and if you're not doing that right now, you really should try. And the other thing, of course, is that you can also have your menu all over your facility, in every treatment room, by the guest relations desk, of course, on a digital loop, maybe in your lobby, that your menu keeps circling. So those are all great places to let your menu be known and share it with as many people as possible. All right, number 5, that's measuring your menu's performance. Now, you can have a menu, you've designed it, you've written it, all that good stuff, but you really need to track and see which treatments are your best sellers, which treatments are actually maybe not doing so well. What are the most popular price points? What are the ones that are not price points that are maybe too high or too low that you're not benefiting from? What are the frequencies of these treatments? So when you assess your menu and you see what's selling and what's not, you need to go to the team and find out why are the treatments that are not selling. And is it because the team is not promoting them? They're not sold on them? They don't like to perform them? You need to find out, because every treatment on your menu should be easy to recommend and to sell to your consumers. And when you assess the productivity of each treatment, that will give you a very good idea of what needs to happen to improve that performance and to make sure that all your treatment menu items are being sold. So if you need to train the team a little bit more, then definitely do that. Actually, team training is principle number 6. So it's a great lead way into it. And I have to tell you, this is probably one of the most important things you should do to ensure that your menu is being utilized properly. You need to have training for all different people. Your providers need to learn how to do first they need the technical knowledge of each treatment, the equipment, the protocols, the rituals, the experience. So they need to learn all that. And of course, your guest relations team needs to learn exactly what they need to do when somebody calls up or walks in, how to describe the treatment in such a great way that people are going to want to say yes, how to reserve those consultations so we can share with them all the different treatments that you offer. So those are all essential principles that you really should have to get your team up on all your menu items and make sure that they are presenting them in the most effective and most professional way possible. Sounds good? Alright, so one last little words of advice, you guys, is that I don't want you to look at the competition to copy them. You want to look at the competition to see what they offer, find a void, and then present your menu in a totally different way. So if you give it a personality, you give it a theme, you give it a style, you give it good content, you're going to be able to crush the competition. They're not even going to be a competition for you, seriously. So go ahead, create your menu, assess it first, create a great menu, publish it, and then see the difference that it will make in your business. So if you need any help, you can always reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to help you. If you have not had a success planning session yet, I highly recommend you do so. You can go on inspirationmanagement.com and click a button right from the home page and reserve your session so we can help you. Like this video, please share it, leave us some comments. We would love for you to benefit more and more. Subscribe to the YouTube channel right here so you can get notified every time we put out a video. So thank you so much for being with us today for another Dori Talks. And until next time, stay inspired. Bye now.